If you're watching this video, you're probably someone who has read all the books, listened to the podcast, gotten advice from mentors, has been looking for a mentor, but nothing has stuck in your life to truly transform your life. I totally understand that experience because from around 2021 to 2023, all I was doing was looking for answers. I was honestly searching everywhere for someone to give me the light and to show me the way. But that was my first problem. I was looking for something external to change and transform me internally. And the only way that we can truly transform is from the inside. And that doesn't just mean getting more knowledge, getting more insight, getting more wisdom. It means getting that wisdom and applying it and transforming it to the external. In this video, we're going to talk about how to move from consumption to actual transformation to be able to see real visual results in your life and taking that weight, taking that stress of transformation off of you because it is now a lifestyle. You have made the behavioral change to change your life.
Concluding, concentrating on my abusing lover and my babies. Made me wanna ask you later for a tip.
What's up, everyone? My name is Morgan and welcome back to my channel, Actualized AF, where we talk strategies and tips to actualize all the goals you desire and become that person you've always visualized. And today we're busting the myth about self-help and self-transformation. So many people think that self-help and self-transformation is wrapped into a book, wrapped into a podcast, but it's really wrapped within yourself. And understanding small techniques about how to bring it out of you and apply it to your world and your daily habits to change your reality is the only way that you move from consumption of self-help to transformation of your actual life. Everybody now is talking about rebranding their life. Oh, I want to change my entire life around. I want to have new friends, new wardrobe, new everything. And while that is possible and that's great, it can seem like an overwhelming and a daunting task to, number one, plan out the rebrand, and number two, think about all the small things that you have to do to truly achieve that rebrand that you're thinking about. The rebrand can't happen without application. It's so interesting because when I talk to people who are interested in transforming their lives and just the idea of being a better person, a more elevated version of themselves, they always talk about resources or inspiration from other people, which is great. It's always good to be inspired and kind of just have that fire under you, but knowledge is only power when it is applied. So many people are consuming information, podcasts and books, and they're saying this is a great idea, but they're not necessarily understanding that without applying that knowledge into systems within their own lives, whether that's a small daily habit or an entire life rebrand, they're not going to get the transformation that they desire. It's kind of like they're trapped in this cycle of learning. That cycle will only lead you toward frustration. But people think that it's like you have to wipe your life clean. You know, you have to start fresh and do everything cold turkey. But in reality, the small habits and the small actions, they're kind of like fuel. Once you add more fuel to the fire gets bigger and it becomes this force that can't be stopped. That's kind of how you have to envision your life. I can attest to this because during that 3-year span of me just feeling like not like myself, I realized that I had lost my anchor. I had lost my grounding. And my grounding is my daily habits that allow me to be the person who is transformed and who is elevated and who is living this new reality. That's actually what made me a transformed person. It was because every single day I was chipping away and becoming the person of my dreams. That's what a lot of people miss. They want the destination instead of the journey. And the journey towards self-transformation is the actual transformation. And transformation doesn't just happen overnight. It happens in small moments to make you become the person of your dreams. So here's what we're doing all 2025. It's moving from consumption to transformation. Every time you consume something, you have to apply new knowledge from that thing that you consumed in order to transform your life. The solution is you and your actions and nothing else. All right, so why is this a good thing to move from consumption to transformation? Other than the fact that you can basically transform your life and actually do the rebrand that you've been talking about and you put on your vision board. Number one, it bridges the gaps between learning and results. Ask yourself, what is the goal here? Do you want to learn something new or do you want to change your life? Because those are two different routes, okay? If you want to learn something new, you want to continue to be a consumer. You want to continue to read books and listen to the podcast. And by the way, I'm not saying that you should stop reading and stop listening to podcasts. There's a huge gap in between those two people. And the only way to fill that gap is through action. Whatever that action is, it needs to happen and change you from just a learner to a transformer. Another benefit of moving from consumption to transformation is that it prevents overwhelm and decision fatigue. What you need is clarity. You know, there is a thing as too much advice. There is a thing of so many opinions just coming at you that you can't make a decision for yourself. That not only is overwhelming, but it doesn't personalize that advice to me. It's just everyone else projecting their experiences and their fears and their own limitations onto you. All of that information is loaded. It's packed with limitations. It's packed with fears. It's packed with other people's experiences. And the only way to unpack all of those things and to get to the core of the wisdom and get to the core of the information is for you to apply it to your life to see how you can mix and match all of this information and get a clear understanding of how that information actually applies and works for you personally. So that's the reason why you're getting decision fatigue too, is because all that advice applies to other people and you need information that only applies to yourself. And the only way to get that information is to actually use that information in your own life and apply it to yourself. Another benefit of moving from consumption to transformation is building confidence through action. I know I can't be the only one that once I start doing things, doing difficult things, I look at myself and I'm like, okay, yeah, I actually can do the hard things. Like, I actually got this. I know he is tough, but David Goggins, one of my favorite motivational speakers and just like life designers, has this concept about the cookie jar. And basically it's an idea where you have a mental bank of all of the amazing accomplishments you've had in life. When things get tough and I wake up and I'm like, oh God, I can't run this many miles today, or I can't do this today, or I can't do that today. I just think about my mental cookie jar and think about, okay, I already did this in my life. I already did all of these other difficult things. What is one more to add to the list? It boosts your confidence and it makes you realize, like, yes, I can actually do more things. It doesn't stop here. I haven't reached my limit because I am unaware of my own limit. By doing the thing and acting, I'm not only training myself to take action consistently and be disciplined and be consistent, but I'm actually reminding myself of my ability to challenge myself. And I'm also building confidence because I continue to do hard things that I didn't think that I could do. You'll realize the bar of your confidence has heightened because you've actually accomplished the thing that you thought that you couldn't. Moving from consumption to transformation creates lasting behavioral change. So many people talk about it has to be a lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle. And you don't actually know what that means until you go through it and you're like, wow, it actually is a lifestyle. I've been through many weight loss and fitness journeys. Nothing really stuck because I didn't think of it as a lifestyle change. I thought of it as, oh, let me run this next race, or let me fill this space and time with a certain weight in order for me to feel happy. And while change is temporary, lifestyle habits can remain for an entire lifetime. So when I was going through my 3-year span of not knowing where I was and who I was, and I just needed a little bit of help, I applied these 5 techniques to make sure that I could bring myself out of that depths of darkness and move forward, and not just move forward and be average, but move forward as an elevated version of myself from even before my depressive era. I knew that I wanted to be better. I knew that I wanted to be elevated, and I knew that I wanted to empower myself. I wanted to stop spending a whole bunch of money and thinking that everything else was going to give me the answers. I wanted to truly look inside of myself and say, Morgan, you got this. I wanted to wake myself up every single day and have a system of operation so that I could always look inside of myself for the answers and empower myself. There is no reason why I need to continue paying people, to continue buying products to hopefully get an answer that works for me. If you think about it, all those products are built for other people. They're supposed to be a universal answer. Until we apply the knowledge that that product or that book or that whatever is supposed to teach us to personalize it to our lives, then we're not going to understand which system works for us and how we can transform our lives from within. The first thing that I did was to start small and be consistent. So yes, I was looking to rebrand my life and to do a whole bunch of things, but I knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight, and I knew that I needed to do small things to make it happen. But even before starting small, actually, is to realize that it's not going to happen overnight. The second thing is to start small with those actions and with that newfound mentality. What I did was I read 10 pages a day, and I still do. Again, this is now a lifestyle for me to read every day. Read 10 pages a day. Journal for 10 minutes in the morning. Start small and maybe give yourself a time frame or a certain amount of pages or a certain amount of something every single day to commit to. Committing to small challenges for myself literally has made things into a lifestyle. Like I said, I read daily. I manifest journal daily. I have a morning routine. I work out daily now. And to think back 3 years ago when I was, really struggling with getting myself back on track and back in the mindset of being Morgan. It's funny because those small things helped me climb out of that hole and made me into the person that I am today. And I was so hesitant on doing those small things, and it was so hard. It was so difficult for me to start those small things. But that morning is what changed my life. Those 5 tasks that I did in the morning and committing to that and committing to new habits is what helped me transform. And it's not necessarily the commitment to new habits. It's the commitment to building and training my brain and having a better mindset about life. It is the commitment to showing up for myself before the world shows up to me. It's the commitment to grounding myself to habits that are healthy as opposed to grounding myself in unhealthy habits. It's more so a commitment to self as it is a commitment to healthy habits. Ask yourself, how could you commit to yourself in small ways, literally tomorrow? I think anyone can make a small commitment to themselves. You can still make a small commitment to yourself to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself affirmations and give yourself words of advice and give yourself empowerment. You can still make a commitment to empower yourself. And that empowerment is a small commitment. It takes 1 minute to look in the mirror and look at yourself and realize that you need to change. And tell yourself every day that you need to change and actually go through your day and do it. And that is $0. Anybody can do that. The second technique is to apply one concept at a time. Everybody is looking for the overhaul. Everybody is looking for the clean slate. That's a lot of work. And that's really overwhelming. And we talked about overwhelm and decision fatigue because you have to remember all of these new habits to start tomorrow. That's just too much work for a beginner who is literally trying to transform their life from ground zero. I would apply one concept at a time. When I was going through my transformation, I did have my vision board and I did map out basically how I wanted my entire year to look. But that doesn't mean that I did every single thing on the vision board on January 1st. A lot of people like to separate it into quarters, but I kind of just took a step back and looked at my calendar and I said, when is it beneficial and suitable for me to implement this new habit here and this new habit here or this lifestyle change around here? If we try to change our lives around times that that it's just not going to work, it is not going to work. You have to be realistic. So actually, technique number 2 isn't to apply one change at a time. It's to be realistic. Really is to say, stop. When is the best time for me to actually do this? Usually the answer is now. If you really want to challenge yourself and transform your life, now is always the best option. But sometimes, for example, around the holidays, maybe around the holidays, it's not the best time to decide that you're going to run a marathon. I know this because I have experience with this. I would never suggest that for anybody ever in life. So that was an unrealistic expectation from myself. How can you map out all of your goals, implement one small concept, and be real with yourself about the time frame, your energy level, and the expectations that you have for yourself at that moment in time? My third tip is to create a system for growth. And again, this can be a small system that you build into an entire lifestyle, but the lifestyle is not going to happen without a foundation, and that foundation is usually a system of operation, which allows you to go to the next tier of your life, which incorporates a system of operation, which allows you to go to the next tier, and so on and so forth until all of those systems of operation become lifestyles. The biggest system that I've implemented in my life, and I will encourage anyone to do it, is to have a morning routine. It allows you to stay grounded and anchored in your own vision. It allows you to remind yourself of the values that you want to lead by in your life, and you start your day with those values. For me, it has nothing to do with waking up early and getting after it and doing the workout. Yes, I do all of those things, but all of those things are grounded in values, in ideas and pillars about how I want to live. Before the world shows up and greets me, I greet the world with how I want to interact with it, which is somebody who prioritizes health, someone who engages in breathing techniques and meditation to confront stress, someone who thinks about themselves in this time-space dimension and how I want to interact with the world. By having a morning routine, no matter what time I'm waking up, I'm able to stop, think, and reflect before I interact and act. So when it comes to building a system, here's what's important. You need to know what habits you're going to commit to. You need to have a time frame for yourself, and you need to have a way to track your progress. And I talk a lot about that in building a self-care system, my last video that you should totally check out. But it doesn't necessarily always have to be a self-care system. This could be a morning routine. This could be a nighttime routine. This could be habits that you have throughout the day. Thinking about your life as a system is kind of what's going to help you transform. I actually went to a personal development retreat a few months ago. That's a lot of what we talked about, is your internal hardware, your operating system that you previously operated with. It's no longer fit for your new lifestyle. This old software is not going to work with this device. And even though our device now is maybe a small upgrade in the model in terms of a new mindset shift or a new body or new value systems or whatever, you still need to change the operating system of yourself in order to keep up with this new mindset, new body, new value system, new whatever. Don't just ask yourself what habits are going to contribute to this system, but what system is going to allow growth in your life. And don't make this whole difficult system that's going to overwhelm you and continue to create decision fatigue in your life. Create a system that is geared toward growth. How are you going to track? How are you going to reflect? How are you going to check in with yourself daily in order to make sure that system is operating correctly? My fourth technique is to have an accountability partner. And I will go to the ends of earth talking about an accountability partner. Why? Because I actually have an accountability group, Accountable AF. And we meet monthly to discuss our goals, empower each other, and create a sisterhood around achieving our goals and becoming our best selves. If you're interested in joining, we meet in person in Atlanta, and you can follow the link below to join and get more information about our group. It is such a great time, and I love working with this group of women. We hold each other accountable. So when we meet monthly, we bring our goals to the forefront and we say, hey, this is what I want to achieve in the next 3 months. months. Each month when we meet, we actually have to talk about and confront the goals and systems that we have implemented in our lives or that we need more support in implementing. And by having this accountability group and literally all of these women behind me, I have been able to start a community. I've been able to continue with my workouts and just show up for myself in a way because I know that a whole bunch of women are not only watching me, but they're rooting for me and they're empowering me and themselves to achieve their goals. Definitely look into joining my accountability group, but if you're not in Atlanta and you just want to have an accountability partner, then that is the game changer. Outside of the accountability group, I work out with two of my friends, Atika and Larissa, every morning at 5 a.m. Because I know that they're going and they're counting on me to go and kind of motivate them and cheer them on, I have worked out consistently for the past few months because of them. Now, it's not just me working out with a regular friend who might want to dip their toes into working out or dip their toes into living a healthy lifestyle. I've chosen people who want the same things as me, who are goal-oriented like me, who are goal-getters, who are like-minded and want the same outcomes. And that's the biggest point about having an accountability partner. It's not just choosing someone to go at the same time as you. It's choosing someone who gets it and is about transforming their lives just like you are and moving from consumption to transformation. Because imagine you're on the path toward transformation and your accountability partner is on the path toward consumption of information. And those two things just do not align, and that's where accountability relationships mess up and just don't align with your goals. Choosing someone who is on the path toward transformation is the game changer for you to actually transform your life. And my last tip is to reflect and adjust regularly. So many people, they make the vision board, they have all these ideas, and then they start doing the lifestyle transformation through the daily habits, but then the daily habits slip off, their lifestyle transformation goes back into the lifestyle that they are comfortable with and once had, and they realize that they're not achieving what they think they're achieving. And part of that is because they're not stopping and reflecting and adjusting their habits and really looking into their lifestyle to see what's working and what's not and why. Of course, it's going to be difficult to implement new lifestyle habits. Of course, it's going to be difficult to transform, but you need to stop and ask yourself, why is this so difficult for me? It's not just about sitting down and choosing a day and reflecting on your life. And yes, you should totally do that. So make regular reflections and a part of your calendar. But when you do that, when you're in those sessions of reflection, what is happening? The biggest question that you need to be asking yourself is, why are these habits working and not working in my life? And when we get to that not working part, that's our biggest piece of information that's going to change us from consumers to transformers. We're stopping and asking ourselves, why is this not working? What about my systems of operation are not allowing this habit to manifest in the way that I want it to? What about my current schedule is not aligning with the schedule of my future self? There's some miscommunication. There's still a gap. Remember we talked about that gap between consumer and transformer? There's still a gap of misinformation. We need to not necessarily find new information, but maybe apply principles in a different way. When I feel like I'm losing ground, not living up to the lifestyle that I say I want to live, I like to have just regular talks with myself. Why is this not working? What do I need to do differently? I honestly today just had a talk with myself because this week was a little bit stressful for me and I ate a little bit differently than I wanted to, and I didn't wake up for my 5 a.m. workout. So literally when I did my morning routine this morning, I wrote my affirmations about continuing to be grounded, continuing to commit to my daily habits, and continuing to be the person that I want to be, because I got off track this week. And of course, it's okay. Sometimes you're going to get off track, but it's about the conversations that you have with yourself to put yourself back on track and reflect and realize, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing differently this week? And how do I just get back into alignment? Kind of like I talk about this a lot. When you're in alignment, you're kind of just doing things step by step to have everything attract to you. When you're out of alignment, you're just kind of bobbing and weaving with life, and it gets difficult. it gets to be a bit difficult to live the lifestyle that you want to live. But what's going to get you back into that sequence of events that just attracts everything that you want? And it really is, again, your daily habits and how you stop and reflect about how the implementation of those habits is affecting your life, either successfully or negatively. Move in a direction of transformation, and that will only happen through mindset and believing that you can, believing you have that power, and believing that you deserve to transform your life, and believing that the moment is now. So if you like this video, make sure you click the thumbs up, hit subscribe, because we are building this community of people who are actualizing and living their best lives. Stay tuned for another video where I am busting myths about transforming your life and actualizing your wildest dreams and giving you tips to help you get there. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Concentrating on my abusing lover and her babies. Made me wanna ask you later for a ticket out of town.